Vandeham Sri Guruvaram Sri Rupanugapravaram Brajarasarasikam Shanarayanam Tam Prapannam Sri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prestaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktidam Cha Krupamurti Narayanam Seva Kunche Braje Ramye Govardhana Girau Sada Radha Kunde Rasanande Tadat Seva Pradayakam Gurum Narayanakyam Tam Vande Vinoda Preshtakam Yatpadasmiti Matrena Damodara Prasidati Narayanam Prabhum Vande Karuna Gana Vigraham Ragamarga Bhaktim Tattva Tarayati Tribhuvanam Gaurahari Param Preshta Nityananda Apinnaka Sri Gauranarayana Bhakta Bandhava Priya Sevakam Narayanam Gurum Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramano Bhishtam Purnam Radha Dasyam Pradayakam Rupanugacharya Varyam Rupamanjari Preshtakam Padita Bhavana Bandhava Yugacharya Narayanam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Vajja Kalpa Jarupchecha Kripa Sindhu Pevacha Paditana Bhavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone for our Saturday Jiva Dharma class in English. So today we are here to resume our first chapter that we started 2 weeks earlier. So today we continue part 3 today, and here is just a preview of the last class. Paramahamsa Babaji, while doing his early morning sadhana, he was deeply absorbed in the Nikunja Leela pastime of Sri Radha Krishna. While he was meditating in the mood of his perfected spiritual form, he lost all awareness of his physical body. He was in the Nikunja Leela of Goloka Vrindavan. Sannyasa Thakura, who was there nearby, saw the Ashtasattvik Baba of his Gurudev. All of a sudden, his Gurudev, Paramahamsa Babaji, started to talk loudly. Oh, Saki, silence the Kakati immediately. So what is this Kakati? Kakati is a female pet monkey of Radharani. And he was continuing. You silence her. Look there. Anagamanjari is signaling you to do this. And you, Ramana Manjari, this is your designated service. And be attentive. Who is this Ramana Manjari in this Nikunja Leela? He is my Gurudev, Yugacharya Srila Narayana Maharaj. As he is the Mahajana, one of the greatest Mahajanas that everyone have witnessed and seen his eternal Swarupa. For some many devotees have really seen his eternal Swarupa. So Manjari Baba is specially that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, and in his lineage. This is same thing that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had enthused my Gurudev also to give. This is way too high to understand for many. The first level of Krishna consciousness is now reaching out to everywhere, according to the will and prediction by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus, this is reaching out to all the Western worlds. However, Manjari Baba and those so on are way higher than the Vaikuntha Bhakti. It is not for everyone. Dasya Baba of Vaikuntha is easy and any form of Bhagavan can give that. Lord Narayana can give, Lord Vishnu can give, so many such expansions and avatars can give. But Manjari Baba is the highest that only Mahaprabhu really came to give. So it is not for everyone. It is not an ordinary subject either. But anyway, when Paramahamsa Babaji fell unconscious, at that moment Sannyasi Thakura was shocked and also realized another truth about him. That is, he realized that he also has a spiritual identity and may be related to his Gurudeva. As he is also attached to Paramahamsa Babaji, and if Paramahamsa Babaji is a Manjari, then it means that Sannyasa Thakura could be also a servant of that Manjari at least. Usually when someone accepts a Guru, and it does not happen at random, but it is tied with the destiny. So even though Sannyasa Thakura came from the Shankaracharya lineage, his Siddhadeha was not of a Mayavadi sannyasi. Otherwise, when for the first time he saw a devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in ecstasy, even though he did not talk to the devotee, the darshan of the devotee deeply touched his soul. Yes, that touched his soul. His eternal Swarupa was slowly getting aroused. When Paramahamsa Babaji slowly got back to his worldly consciousness, Sannyasa Thakura immediately grabbed his. When Paramahamsa Babaji slowly got back to his worldly consciousness, Sannyasa Thakura was mesmerized. And he saw that his Gurudev, Paramahamsa Babaji, immediately grabbed his chanting beads again tightly and assumed, his Baba and continue chanting the Harinama on the beads. This is the typical behavior of a high-class advanced devotee, a Mahatma. As we see, Paramahamsa Babaji was always chanting Harinama. Harinama is everything. Yesterday, actually, I gave a class on the chapter 12 of Jaiva Dharma in Tamil. It was actually talking about Satya and Sadhana. What is Satya? Satya is the end goal. That is to develop Prema Bhakti to Radha Krishna Yugala. But how do you get to this Satya? It is by chanting Harinama continuously. Because Harinama is one of the topmost sadhana of these 9 angas of devotional activities. But attaining taste in Harinama is also Satya in that way. Because this Harinama is the one that gives Bhava Bhakti, leading to the topmost Satya, that is Krishna Prema. So, Harinama is everything. Harinama is Krishna. There is no difference between Harinama and Radha Krishna. There is no difference at all. There is no difference between Nama and Nami. Sannyasa Thakura offered his prostrated obeisance at Paramahamsa Babaji's lotus feet and sat next to him with folded hands. Then he spoke with great humility. O Prabhu, O Master, this destitute wishes to submit a question before you. Kindly reply and pacify my heart. May you be pleased to infuse Brajarasa into my heart. My heart has been so far scorched by the devastating forest fire of Brahmajnana. I had a desire to merge into Brahman, but I know now that it was the lowest. I also had a desire to achieve Paramatma, which is also lowest. I have a question that I want to submit to you. So hearing this, Paramahamsa Babaji replied, yes, you are a very good candidate. Whatever questions you ask, I will answer as far as I am able to. Then Sannyasa Thakura said, Oh Prabhu, for a long time, I have heard of the preeminence of Dharma. On numerous occasions, I have asked the question, what is Dharma? So now it is a cause of distress to me that the answers those people I asked have given to me contradict with each other. So please tell me, what is the true constitutional dharma of the jivas? Actually, in this world, you won't believe. All the learned teachers and religions cultivate that one universal dharma which is without a second and follow just one dharma. Why everybody is telling different things about dharma of jiva? Paramahamsa Babaji then replied. He said, O most fortunate one, I shall describe to you the principles of dharma. As far as my knowledge allows, I will try to explain. An object is called vastu. A object is called a vastu. And its eternal nature is known as nitya dharma. The nature of an object arises from the elementary structure of that object, which is also called Ghatana. By Krishna's desire, things are manifested. Prakriti, Jivatmas, they're all manifested because of the wish of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. But the nature of an object can become altered or distorted when a change takes place within it or around it. So either by faults or by circumstances or due to contact with other objects. So that means we are seeing three kinds of vastus. Bhagavan, Jivas and Prakriti. Bhagavan is Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Jivas are the part and parcels of, that emanate from the same Bhagavan. And Prakriti is the energy, his Bahiranga Shakti. That means it is not the primary Shakti of himself, it is the external energy. So there are three kinds of vastus then. Bhagavan is the first. Second is the Jivas. Second are the Jivas. And in the Jaiva Dharma, the Jiva is referred to as all souls, including those who are in the various spiritual dimensions and also those who have fallen down to material world. The third vastu is Prakriti. Prakriti means Jada, no consciousness. The Jada is there in all the material world. All the material worlds are made of Jada. Bhagavan is the root and original. And Jiva has a dependency on Bhagavan. Because all the Jivas came from Bhagavan, so Jivas have dependency on Bhagavan. The Jivas came from the Jiva Shakti of Bhagavan. The Prakriti, the third kind of vastu, came from the Bahiranga Shakti of Bhagavan. So in a nutshell, we have understood these three things. Bhagavan is the supreme original and Jiva is depending on Bhagavan. And Prakriti is another energy from Bhagavan. They all Jivas and also the Prakriti, they are all under the control of Bhagavan. Even though Jiva has some independence, little independence. Now, Babaji is actually trying to go more deeper into the subject. Take for example water. So water is an object, is a vastu. It is part of Prakriti, right? It's made up of atoms and molecules but what is the original swabhava or dharma of water? Dharma, we are talking about the dharmas. What is that? Now coming to this little deeper, the original nature of water is liquidity. That is the dharma. Dharma of water is liquidity. So liquidity is the dharma of the water. But when this water solidifies due to circumstances and some changes and becomes ice, because due to any external influences, its natural quality or the swabhava is changed from liquidity into solidity. Now think about Jiva. Similar to the swabhava of water as liquidity, the swabhava of every Jiva is to be eternal servant of Krishna. But due to circumstances or external influences, the swabhava of some Jivas got temporarily changed. Not all the Jivas, some Jivas, because they have independence. It's not an external. It is not an external change because of the circumstance, influence, and conditions are not eternal but temporary. So that means the changes eventually will really go back to its original state. So what are the circumstances or influence on the jivas that caused the swabhava to change from eternal servant, that is the original swabhava of jiva, to coming alone and trying to enjoy himself, and he's thinking that he's a boss, he's the master, instead of he's a servant of Krishna. So it is the stupidity of those jivas to look at the Maya when came from the Jiva Sakti, which is also called Tatastha Sakti of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. A jiva from Tatastha, by its independence look, it looked either at the Maya side or the Bhagavan side. So that is the material side or the spiritual side. When the jiva looked at Maya, that's downside, its original swabha now became different. So like the water that lost its swabhava of liquidity temporarily due to circumstances, similarly this jiva now takes another nature. So the inherent nature of the jiva gets hidden. Now instead of identifying him as an eternal servant of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he identifies himself with a material body and other material designations. When the jiva takes a male form, he says that he is actually a man, a husband, a father, a doctor, an engineer, and so on, or deeply attaching with the body that the jiva had been placed in. Similarly, when the jiva takes a female form, it says that she is actually a woman, a wife, a mother, a doctor, an engineer, and so on. Similarly, when the jiva takes the form of an animal, say a dog, it says that, oh, I am actually a dog. I am a male dog or a female dog, and I bark. There are 8.4 million kinds of species in the material worlds. These so-called fallen jivas, because they looked at the Maya due to their independence, and they are caught into a whirlpool of samsara, suffering, but thinking that they are enjoying. This is the foolishness, because they are entrapped by Maya. They can be rescued only by the mercy and arrangements from Bhagavan. In reality, the actual nature of these fallen jivas is eternally the loving servants of Krishna. But the temporary nature is that he is living away from Bhagavan, suffering. Like that water that lost its original swabhava of liquidity and assumed a form of ice or steam even, these jivas lost its original swabhava and assumed forms given by the Maya now. So our original eternal swabhava is hidden by the influence of Maya, and we fell in the well of ignorance, identifying ourselves with our material bodies. While the eternal or permanent or nitya nature, now you see the swabhava is also called nitya. So a vastu, when it's in the natural position, it is vastava vastu. Vasta means real. That is natural. Vastavam means real, that the truth. So vastava vastu means it is in the natural eternal state, right state. And now here the thing is, when this is also called nitya, natural state, or vastava means nitya, eternal, permanent state, is original state. So while the eternal or permanent or nitya nature of an object is called swabhava. But when it becomes a temporarily changed and becomes avastava vastu, unnatural state, it is transferring from its original swabhava, nitya, to nisarga. So what is a nisarga? So nisarga is not the temporary nature of that object. That is nisarga. Anitya. It's anitya. It's not nitya, but it's temporary. Okay. So a jiva can be with Bhagavan only when it exists in its pure natural or pure swabhava state. Only in the nitya state. Only in the natural state, a jiva can be with Bhagavan. This is very important to understand. Because that is the eternal state. That is the spiritual state. Spiritually means, fully spiritual state. A jiva who is not in the pure swabhava or nitya state, but in the nisarga state or in its unnatural state, cannot be with Bhagavan. This is very important to understand. That is why fallen jivas are not even seeing Bhagavan. They cannot. They cannot be with Bhagavan. Even though Bhagavan indirectly taking care of the jivas as Paramatma residing in the heart of every living being, but we are not seeing him. We cannot acquaint with him. We remain far. This can be explained by this small example. Take our finger. Why we cannot be with Bhagavan in our nisarga state? Why? Take for example our finger for our example. What is the swabhava of a finger? The swabhava of a finger is to be a servant of the brain and obey to the orders of the brain. And being as a servant, it has to obey the order. But however, when it is not obeying, then there is a problem. So when the brain says, oh finger, you move up and down. So the finger in its swabhava state will follow the order of the brain and moves up and down. But now if the finger thinks, no, I want to be independent. See, jiva has a little independence, little. And the finger says, I will move as I want. If the finger does not follow the will of the brain, the body will not function. Actually, that dharma of the body is going to be completely interrupted. Actually, that finger should be cut off from the body to make the body function right. So if the finger wants to be the brain, this is what Mayavadis actually try to do. They want to be God. They are saying that I am also God. But anyway, so here, okay, because if the finger wants to be the brain, then that means it is really changing the swabhava from swabhava to nisarga. And it tries to behave like its master. Then it is a chaos. And that finger cannot belong under the brain anymore. It is not under the custody of brain anymore. Same way, because jivas thought, some jivas, not all of them, that I also want to enjoy like Bhagavan. I want to be master. Why only Bhagavan, only Krishna is master? I also is master. And I should exercise my own freedom. It has got little freedom because we came from Bhagavan who has full freedom. But jivas have some freedom. And now these jivas are thinking nisarga state. Is behaving like that misbehaving finger in the example I am giving. Because a finger cannot be brain. And similarly, Jiva cannot be Bhagavan. So because of this difference, now he is now living in a different dimension altogether. That is what is this Prakriti is all about, Jadalokas. So this is why the fallen Jiva is hidden from even Darshana of Bhagavan. So when a Jiva is in its Swabhava, it is with Bhagavan and serving as a servant with love and affection. Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nityadasa. But if the Jiva, similar to the finger, wishing to be independent from its master, the brain, it has to be cut off from that body. That desire of the Jiva is the false ego, which is the cause of Visarga. Visarga or Nisarga, same. So this also implies that if a Jiva develops Visarga, it cannot be with Bhagavan in his abode. There cannot be any false ego with when with Bhagavan. Only true ego. What is false ego? I am the master. I am the enjoyer. What is the true ego? I am the servant of my master. That is the true ego. So Nisarga is opposite to Swabhava. If a finger really tries to think that it wants to become brain, it does not belong there anymore because it is in Nisarga or Anitya state and it has to be cut off or isolated out. In the case of those fallen jivas in Nisarga state, Maya Devi, who is the Bahiranga Satya of Lord Krishna, isolates that jiva and puts him in the material world with two coverings. It puts two coverings. As you know, what are those coverings? That covering is subtle body and gross body. So just because a Vastu, in this case Jiva, has gone from Vastava Vastu to Avastava Vastu, from Swabhava to Nisarga or Visarga. So because of that, Maya takes control now. When Maya takes control, she is the one who, because Krishna knows, Bhagavan knows, there are some jivas who will be really running away cases. So these running away cases need to be taken care. So that is why you see in the whole world there are a lot of people who really become criminals. So the government knows that they also need to be treated. So they make jails. So the same way these runaway cases need to be treated so that they really get back to the normal swabhava. So Maya Devi is jailer. The jail is all the material worlds are the jails. Why in the jail will you think that they will be always happy? No. That is why this nature of these material worlds are completely with miseries. So Maya Devi gives a subtle body which has material mind, material intelligence and false ego. False ego, what is false ego? Oh, I am the master. I am the enjoyer. I am independent. I can do this. I can do that. I am the master. No, I want to be away from because how can there be two masters at the same time? You cannot really work for two boss, and if you want to work for yourself, as you are a boss, you are out. So Maya Devi gives his subtle body with mind, intelligence, and false ego is automatically that is what starting with that. Then he puts the subtle body like this, mind and intelligence, and like a banyan, something that we really wear, we are inside. Then he puts a gross body with 5 elements of material nature: ether, air, fire, water, and earth. And he is letting to really go do karma now. Go and try to enjoy. Try to enjoy. So Maya Devi then allows to do karma in the material worlds. Depending on the karmas, these get be. Become born and dead, again born and dead again and again and again. While under the custody of Maya Devi is like a mother only actually. It's none other than the energy of Krishna only. She is actually sister in a way. That is how the Shastras compare. So Lord Krishna has given this business of torturing, then punishing those jivas who are coming away from the swabhava and become nisarga, and then trying to really enjoy themselves alone away from Krishna. So we have three kinds of miseries created by Maya. Atyatmika. Atyatmika, because you yourself, your body will give problem. Your mind will give problem. Your intelligence also will give problem. Of course, your false ego is a fundamental problem to start with all these. So problem, Atyatmika. Then what is Adibhautika? Other bodies also will give problem now, because you are now a mixture of, these same kind of people are there, foreign people are there, and then there will be chaos. Others will also give problem. Mosquitoes will give problem. Neighbors will give problem. Terrorists gives problem. Government gives problem. Maybe government gives more problem than anyone else. And then Adi Devika. Oh, this material world themselves are really managed by several managers. Indra, Chandra, all those so many, 33 crores, 330 million kinds of, 330 million gods are there. There is Swarkaloka. They also give problem. Devika, Adi Devika. So these miseries like the teachings, or these miseries are none other than teachings. You have to be tortured. You have to be trained like in the jail. You are getting punished for this wrong thing that you have done by exercising your independence in the wrong way, because it is not you, because you became nisarga. That is the whole problem. So it is not in the natural state of jiva is to become its loving servant to Krishna, which you did not. You really deviated that. You became abhastava vastu. So eventually the jiva gets awakened and starts to hate the material worlds. This is when the jnana comes there. They try to do karma yoga also they will try. It's very tough. Then also is Ashtanga yoga, so many yogas, they really try to do that. I mean, it's all going to be nothing. It's all kupai. Nothing. There will be millions of years. Then finally they get so frustrated. And they will feel, oh, now I am really fallen down. I am not getting any happiness here. So like that, eventually the jivas they get awakened, and they will hate the material worlds. If anyone has come to that stage where they really they hate to live in this material world, that is the time your guru comes in picture. Yeah, now a guru comes to really manifest. Only a guru can be realized only by the soul who has developed hate, the hatred to the material world, hatred to enjoy this world, and they are looking for something. Oh, no, this is not happiness, this is not happiness. Whatever I try to do, my relations now, my relatives now, my wife, my husband now, my money, home, this, car, that, none of that is actually giving me any happiness. Oh, I hate all these things. Oh, Lord, somebody, oh God, there must be a God. Oh God. Then Krishna sends a guru. Until then, even a guru is just walking nearby, you are not going to really know that he is a guru. Because guru can be recognized only when you have the vision to see him as a guru. That what is the vision? That vision is you develop hatred on this material thing, material worlds. Your relations, your money, this man, everything you hate. And you are wondering, oh, I want something higher than. Then you can recognize Guru. Guru is walking all over the places. So a Guru becomes manifest to teach on Atma Jnana, that is Jaiva Dharma, and points out about the eternal state of the Jiva and gives guidance on Bhakti Yoga to develop Bhakti and go back to Bhagavan, attaining its original Swabhava state. This is what Guru does. He just by helping and giving mantra, and also by really forcing the disciple to really go through sadhana, he cleanses. So he's trying to really clear all the junk that have been contaminated on the jiva in the nisarga state and become swabhava. That's what a guru is doing. Jivera swarupakaya krishnara nityadasa, that guru will teach. Then finally, the jiva realizes that only after, so that way, only after repeated sufferings given by a Maya Devi, a jiva realizes its foolishness and runs to get a guru. In this regard, what do you think about Maya Devi? Actually, she is divine. She is mother. She actually is really teaching us the real lesson. Maybe some people may think, oh, Maya Devi, but actually, you can worship Maya Devi if you want, if you have realized to this level. So if you have come to this level, then you are seeing Maya Devi as not really somebody who is really you like a real jailer or something. No, she is actually teaching you. She is helping you to really go back from Nisarga state to Swabhava state. So who is this Maya Devi? Shadow of Yogamaya. Who is that Yogamaya? Radharani. So that means when you come to this state and then now you really say, oh, even if you really worship Maya Devi, absolutely Maya Devi, for you she is really giving darshan as Yogamaya. If you even go further, then you are seeing Radharani only. Radharani is coming in a disguise to torture this, to really beat these jivas, to really give it, to really give the jiva to at the lotus feet of her beloved, so that the jiva can really serve Krishna. So it is Radharani's will eventually. She is so merciful. And in fact, Maya Devi is also merciful. This you have to understand. But we have to develop the vairagya to take shelter under a bona fide guru. This is the problem. Who wants guru? Nobody wants guru. Everybody wants to become guru. If you see so many, if you see the YouTube channel, there are so many, only they are preaching as if they are gurus. This is the problem there. Guru will never say that he is a guru anyway. But so many are there. Anyway, that's a different topic altogether. But here the bottom line in this way is the sufferings given by Maya Devi will develop and it becomes vairagya, and vairagya to take shelter under a bona fide guru, throwing everything else. So, we have learned that there are three kinds of vastus: Bhagavan, Jivas, and Prakriti. We also learned there are two kinds of states of vastu. Depending on the current state of a vastu, they are called as Vastava vastu or Avastava vastu. A vastu is called Vastava vastu when it is in the natural or in its nitya state. But when a vastu is in the current state of, whatever the fallen state, in nisarga, then that vastu is called avastava vastu, or said to be in its unnatural state. So of these three vastus, Bhagavan is never subjected to any nisarga. This you have to understand. So Bhagavan does not undergo to any transformations as we are seeing, because he is not falling down. Only jivas, because of the weakness, is falling down. Okay, this is very important to understand. So Bhagavan is never subjected to any nisarga, even though he is coming as some avatars, and we may see this avatar is doing only little, or some avatar do little more, etc., etc. But we should be always, we have to be very careful. He is always Purna. All avatars are Purna. It is the same moon, but on different days, it looks smaller or bigger, or smaller or bigger. But it's the same moon. It's same Bhagavan. Okay. So only the other two vastus like jivas and prakriti can be subjected to nisargas. A jiva is falling down to material world, and also material world, we took the example of the water, because that also went from the its swabhava state to nisarga state, right? So these two can really can be subjected to any nisarga. What are those? Jivas and the prakriti. Prakriti also is come and goes, because the Mahavishnu creates and then again absorbs back. It's not completely gone out of the thing. It's there. All are eternal. Bhagavan is eternal. Jivas are also eternal. And also the Prakriti is also eternal. But it's subject to transformation. That is the only differences. Now let us see how a avastava vastu goes back to its natural or vastava vastu state. That is easy to understand. How do you make an ice to become water again? We simply remove the condition and it becomes water again. So of course that is the Prakriti side. But what about the Jiva side? It is easy to understand there too. We have to remove the condition that made us to fall. What was the condition that made us to fall? What was the condition that made us to fall? It is to remove our ignorance that makes us to think that we are the enjoyer and we are the body. So this is the false ego. What is true ego? True ego is that, oh, I am always eternally the loving servant. So, eternally I am a loving servant of Sri Krishna. That is Nityam. I am a Krishna Dasa. And now when a jiva identifies in its real nature, that in its swabhava, that, I am a servant of my, like the finger realizes, yes, I am a servant of brain. Then everything is perfect. That is swabhava. So the same way, here as soon as when the jiva thinks that it will be, thinks that it is a servant, then everything is perfectly fine. That means we are removing the condition. So now let us see. So from false ego, the jiva has to switch to true ego. That is basically right. Okay, now there is a question comes. Does it really change? A jiva can really change by its own will? It is not possible. It is like an animal has really fallen into the deep well. Can the animal really, by jumping outside, jumping and try to jumping again and again, can it really come out by itself? Just not possible. Because it's a deep ditch, very deep ditch. We have no way of jumping out. This is why Krishna, Bhagavan, is sending his, his disciples, his devotees, his devotees as gurus, so that these fallen jivas can be rescued. So we cannot do by ourselves. How can a person who has fallen into deep well can come out by himself? It's not possible. Only by external help, who can put a rope for us to be rescued, then he can be taken out from Maya. So that help comes from Bhagavan in the name of Sri Guru. So, but now a question comes again. So, if the jivas all came from Bhagavan, why some jivas developed false ego and fell down, whereas there are so many jivas who are eternally serving Bhagavan? This is a big question, deep question. Yes, all the jivas actually came from Bhagavan. That is why it has the quality of Bhagavan. But jivas are very, very minute. They, by the nature, they are very weak. Even though they came from, they all the jivas came from Bhagavan, by quality, yes, we have the qualities of Bhagavan. There are 50 qualities that we really get from Bhagavan. Out of 64 qualities of Lord Krishna, jivas have 50, but only minor, very, very minute, not much. Lord Narayana has 60 qualities, not 64. Vishnu has 55 and Lord Shiva has 50, all qualities full. But jivas have only 50 qualities, but very minute. So that means in quantity we have a big difference actually. The jivas are very insignificant. Jivas are dependent under Bhagavan. Similarly, Maya or Prakriti also came from Bhagavan, from his Bahiranga Sakti. And thus Bhagavan is the master of Maya and the Maya is a subordinate for Bhagavan. So Bhagavan can never come under control of, of course, Bhagavan is Bhagavan. There is no one to above him. However, even though Maya is Jada and the jivas are superior in one way, jivas are really caught because of the weakness, can sometimes be subjected by the influence of Maya. So that means there is a weakness. So here, the way the whole thing, you have to understand. Bhagavan is eternal. All the jivas are always eternal. Prakriti is also eternal. But there is a lot of leela going on. There is a leela, srishti leela going on. It's not that Bhagavan is actually keep on, feeding, creating jivas and, etc., etc. They are just cycling or something like that. That means there's a kala involved? No. This is why it is very difficult to really touch. As we go, we will get more into this aspect. So, the jiva develops, those jivas who develop false ego falls down, and those jivas who really develops true ego, they really go up. How is it possible? By the independence of the jivas. Because jiva has either only two options when it's coming out of the Tatastha Sakti. Either it has to go up or down. But it has no idea what is good, what is bad. It has no idea. So, but the jiva is has to make a decision. That is its independence. But some jivas look up, but what is that? It's independence only. And now some decided to look down. This is what it is random. If you really look from outside, it really happens in random. But actually, there is something minute involved. There is a decision that jiva wanted to look up or down. Nobody is forcing that. So this is very, very minute. But it on the surface, it looks like random only. Anyway, here now as we see from the higher perspective, we can understand the Srishti Leela of Bhagavan, as I mentioned. So the manifestation of jivas from Bhagavan and their spiritual engagement in the various spiritual abodes and also the entanglement of the jivas with Prakriti are all called Srishti Leela. This Srishti Leela happens by the will of Bhagavan. We can only be part of it. Knowing about all these things is Atma Jnana, which is the real jnana or called Vijnana. So knowing Bhagavan, knowing Jivas and knowing Prakriti and realizing all the truth is Vijnana. Knowing about all those things, Jnana. But when we realize everything, because Jnana is like books only, library books, it's there. But and we need to hear, we need to learn it, and then we need to do realization. We need to have realization. That realization is Vijnana. Okay. So anyway, Bhagavan has full independence, but Jivas have very little independence. But in that process, some are up, some are down. Okay. So that is a part of the Srishti Leela. A Jiva cannot create so many planetary systems. See? But Bhagavan, just by his wish, creates everything. Huh? This is how his Srishti Leela happens. So wonderful. Oh, unlimited Brahmandas. Unlimited Jivas also. We never think that Jivas are actually limited. Just unlimited means, there are two things. Infinity means, we may think that, there is a number, but it is very big. No, not like that. It is really unlimited. Everything, all the Jivas are also unlimited. And Bhagavan's power is also unlimited. And Prakriti is also unlimited. You can see the sky. There's no ending, there is no beginning, nothing. So Prakriti is also very, very high. Anyway, now coming, we were actually talking about this how the true ego is when the jiva thinking that I am Krishna Dasa. That is in the Nitya or Swabhava state. And when the jiva thinks that I am the master, then actually Maya takes over, and actually he is thinking that I am the supreme, but he is that jiva becomes Maya Dasa. Okay. And now this Srishti Leela that we really touched about it, but that itself is a separate topic altogether. Now during this Srishti Leela, what is happening is Bhagavan is infusing one of his another energy called Kala. This is material time. So in the eternal dimension, that is spiritual dimension, there is no Kala. Kala in the sense it is eternally present tense. But here in the Srishti Leela, there is past tense, there is present tense, there is also future tense. So while is Aprakat Leela in the spiritual dimension has no influence of Kala, but has only eternal present tense there, as I mentioned, the Srishti Leela in the material realm has the Kala, which is one of the potencies of Bhagavan that he uses in the Srishti Leela. Bhagavan is Sachidananda, ever blissful. But he also has interest in performing Leelas. Bhagavan is not idle like a dead matter. He is ever active. And hence jivas are also ever active. We can see in this world as how the jivas are really making so many things, making things, building these and maintaining that, destroying these. So like that, in his play, Bhagavan uses his Jiva Sakti and Maya Sakti as the toys, because Bhagavan wants to have some fun. That's the Leela. So that means Bhagavan also wants to have fun. So does the Jivas. We are also having fun if you happen to be with him. But if we really looked at the wrong side, we are feeling really miseries. But that's also part of the Leela actually. So if we understand the Leela of Bhagavan, then we will also understand the real position of our soul. The real position of our soul is always to be with Bhagavan, serving him with love and affection. That is the swabhava of every jiva. Jiva Swarupahaya, Krishna Nitya Dasa. So many times we have quoted that. But this statement is a general truth. Depending on how a soul wants to position itself is the seva. That jiva may really take a role of a male or a female, or thus becomes a dasa or even dasi. And in the spiritual dimension, of course, if you really see that, gopas and gopis. So it's all part of the play. Whose play is this? Without the will of the Lord, there is nothing. So what we should do? We have to play with him. If you do not want to play with him, he say, okay, you don't want to play with me, all right, you go to Brahman and then sleep there forever. I mean, also he will awake because, he knows that the jiva's original swarupa is to be active all the time. So he will kick those jivas who are sleeping in the Brahman. He will also kick him out once in a while here, there. And eventually, because he wants everybody to really go back to the swabha or the nitya state. But actually, to understand our nitya state, there is nothing, no intelligence necessary. Just very easy. We don't have to become a big Superman. We simply have to become a humble servant of Krishna. It's very easy under the guidance of a guru. You are done. You will get back to your nitya, that is swabhava. But if any jiva does not want to play with Bhagavan due to his expression of independence, either it falls down into karmi or it is there in the Brahman. After falling down, it also goes back to. So that means it's not really those jivas are not playing in the play of Bhagavan due to its expression of independence. It becomes a karmi in the material realm. All the karmis go here and there and trying to do something to make themselves happy. But the result is that those jivas who wanted to play independently and tried to become happy without Krishna looked at Maya by turning their head down. That is, away from Bhagavan, Krishna Bhuri. They only reap sorrows, difficulties, miseries one after another. They are caught in the whirlpool of Maya. If we are with Bhagavan, we are in our original natural state and we are Vastava Vastu. Bhagavan is Vastava Vastu and we are also Vastava Vastu to start in our pure form. And in our surrendering our independence back to Krishna. And what does that surrendering mean? Surrendering means I am not independent away from you. I have independence. I have a true ego. I have independence. But that independence is I am doing it right way. Nityam, swabhava way. I am a Krishna dasa. This is how I am. So that is the real way of exercising our independence. And anyway, the Tadastha Jivas, when coming out from the belly of Mahavishnu, there are two choices for the Jivas to select from. Look up at the spiritual sky or look down at the material sky. When these Jivas come out just like a mustard seed sprayed on a sword, something falls at one side and others fall on the other side. It looks random from outside, but there is an inherent factor that makes the Jivas to fall on one side over the other. Who is falling on the sword? The Jivas are falling down. Here we should understand that there is an influence of independence in the Jivas. The Jiva falling on the sword is like someone who with closed eyes, but then then they are forced to open their eyes. Open their eyes. Only two options. One is upside or downside. So the Jiva by its will chooses one. But it is aggregate of all the independences together that seem to be random from outside. However, whatever that happens in by the will of Bhagavan only. Bhagavan is everywhere and he is behind in every activity. So Bhagavan is indeed really behind in making the jivas to fall here or there. Is it? This is the question. Think about this. There are so many jivas who emanated from Mula Sankarshan. They are all serving in the Goloka and Dwaraka realms. Why didn't Bhagavan choose us to come from Mula Sankarshan? He did not. There are so many jivas who emanated from Mahashankarshan. They are serving nicely in the Vaikuntha planet without falling down anywhere. Why didn't Bhagavan choose at least us to come from Mahashankarshan? Why did he make us to come from Mahavishnu? And subjugating us to select between the two options of looking up or looking down? Why did he create this as an option for us? Whereas there was no option given to those who came from Mula Shankarshan or Mahashankarshan. The way to understand this is that we are part and parcel of him. We surrender to his will. If he wants me to play as a dog, that makes him happy, I will play as a dog. If he wants me to play as a cat, that makes him happy, I will play as a cat. It is his sweet will. And I will do whatever pleases him. This is the right way to do. So here is because otherwise, if you are trying to really have your own will, you are subjected to the three modes of material modes. Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. Look at those three girls who are really, making this person to really act like a puppets. See, they're all coming from Mayadevi only. So then the top is actually Krishna. But as soon as you think that, whatever the will of the Lord, my will of the Lord, I will take like this. That is why all the high class, all Mahajans, at the end they will say, oh Lord, doesn't matter what you are really, how you are actually making me to be born. An insect, or here or there, wherever you want to place, no problem. Only one thing is, I want to serve you. I want, always in my heart, I should have devotion for you. That's the only thing. Kulasira Alvar, remember in that, his famous book, it's amazingly, this everybody, this is the proper position of the jiva who was in the nityam, that is Swabhava state. Here's an example I will tell you. There was a monk, once there was a monk, he was walking on the street and somebody came and then gave some food. Oh, then he said, oh, Bhagavan, you are giving me food. He continued walking and after some time, someone approached this monk and gave him some coin. Oh, he said, oh, Bhagavan, you are giving me money. Then there was a robber after some time who came and knocked this monk down and took away the food and then the money. So the monk was lying on the floor, hurt. After some time, one person came there. He sees that the monk was hurt and he was really suffering with some injury. And he really lifted the monk up and asked, oh, Babaji, oh, Baba, are you all right? Oh, the monk got up. He's not able to see. Then the man asked, oh, Babaji, are you able to see me? Do you see me? And the monk replied, oh, yes, I see you. Oh, yeah, I see you. Yeah, yes, it's the same Bhagavan who came and then gave me food. It's the same Bhagavan who came and then gave me money. It's the same Bhagavan who came and then robbed me. And now you are the same Bhagavan who really came and then you are helping me. This is the proper position of a jiva with true ego. That jiva is in the highest position. In fact, the jiva has no suffering by its original. Only because of this material world contamination that we seem that we are suffering. So, no, soul does not suffer at all. It's only always Sachidanand, blissful. So when we come to this particular state, then we will understand. Does not matter whether Bhagavan really made me to really come as a jiva through Mula Shankarshan or Maha Shankarshan or Mahavishnu, and then even because of my this thing looking at, I really fell down. Does not matter. So that means in a nutshell, in a overall, in a global way, whatever we have done, there is don't blame. You be part of the Bhagavan's play. In this world, material world, don't worry. You may be born and dead, don't worry. But you develop devotion to him. As long as whatever the reason that we really put through mud on ourselves, which is what the nisarga we are in, eventually by devotion you will come back. Let that be the will of the Lord. So a jiva can act as per the will of Bhagavan, or act as per the will of oneself away from Bhagavan. This is where the difference comes. So the first kind are the jivas eternally serving in the spiritual abodes. And the second kind are suffering in the material world so that they will be eventually get purified and returned back to its original pure state. Think about the Srishti Leela like this. We read that there are so many demons in all over material worlds. And even Jaya and Vijaya, who are the deers, gatekeepers of Lord Narayan, also had to come as demons. And also, even all the other demons, where do the demons come from? From outside the realm of Bhagavan? No. They also come from Bhagavan only. All the demons appear from the backside of Bhagavan. Actually, somebody was asking me, why should we really follow Ekadasi? Because I was told that the Papa Purusha is going to be in the grains on that day of the Ekadasi. But my question is, why did really Bhagavan first of all create? Why did he create Papa Purusha? Created by Lord Vishnu. And why should I really follow Ekadasi? It was his fault. He was the one who remained. So like that, you can try to really get some misunderstanding also. Papa Purusha really was really made because to really punish those who really make sinful activities. Like eating meat, eating this, that, everything, all kinds of. So all those, he really tried to give a small way of escaping by, having that day following Ekadasi. At least he can really, slowly get himself purified. There are a lot of things reason behind. So anyway, fundamentally, demons are also coming from Bhagavan. So this we have to understand. So only when we come to understand that you leave everything only to the will of Bhagavan for his leelas, then we are in the Vastava Vastu state. Then you are really liberated. On the other hand, if you think, oh, I am God, everything is God, only Brahman exists, Bhagavan also comes from Brahman, I have attained that Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. When you are, okay, this is one way, this is also falling only. Or you are fallen down in a bad way and became karmis. Why? Because the truth is that every jiva is a servant of Bhagavan. And if you are not serving, you are acting like that finger, not obeying through the brain. If there is no devotional service, then you are fallen. So merging in Brahman is avastava vastu state. So you are in avastava condition. You are not in the original swabhava, but you are in nisarga, contaminated or conditioned state. Because you are not part of the play of Bhagavan in your pure state, as to be a servant of Krishna. Until that happens, you are going to be coming down and coming down. Jiva has independence, not to the fullest extent. Without Bhagavan as Paramatma, you can't even live in this world. We still need air to breathe. Only Bhagavan has given it. I have to drink water. Only Bhagavan has given it. I have to use a body. Only Bhagavan has given that. So I am not fully independent. I cannot make anything by myself, not even a blade of grass. So in one way, we are not independent. But in some way, he has given little independence for you to do whatever you want to do, if you can. Are we actually independent? Making sure that our hearts are beating without any problem when you are sleeping? What independence are you having? Can you really take care of managing the function of your body by yourself? No. Little independence is there, but mostly you are totally dependent. In the night, who is breathing? Who is actually making sure about all the digestion? You can only eat. That's your karma. But you cannot digest. Only Paramatma has to digest. Anyway, this is the thing. We hardly have any control on even on ourselves. Anyway, you can do whatever you want. You play. So Jiva is partially independent and mostly dependent on Bhagavan. And this is always very important to understand, that we have to be part of the play of Bhagavan. That is why in the eternal Goloka or Goloka Vrindavan, wherever, we are all part of, we are with the Lord. Whether in Vaikuntha as Lord Narayana, or in Dwaraka as Dwarakeshwara, or in Goloka Vrindavan as Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, or even the Swatidvipa as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever we are with him, as long as you are part of his play, and you will be completely always happy and satisfied. Anyway, I added so much more than what Jaiva Dharma, text is saying. Anyway, now Sannyasa Thakura was asking Prabhu, I want to understand this topic very clearly, more clearly. And Babaji Mahashaya replied, Sri Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami, who was an object of the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he showed me a manuscript that he had written with his own hand. And there Sriman Mahaprabhu had instructed to him to really make that as a scripture, which really came as Chaitanya Charitamrita.